The story of our lives, full of characters, experiences, challenges, and triumphs. Often we get so wrapped up in what's happening in the story that we can lose sight of what's true or important. And every story has a plot twist, something unseen that changes everything. One of these piles today will reveal your story and the perspective shift that's needed to release, overcome, or simply notice what you didn't see before. My readings tend to go where the real work is, which is not always comfortable, but always useful. So if you're ready to notice or shift something in your life, welcome in. Let's spend a moment to settle in. I ask my intuitive wise ones and your spirit guides to be present in the reading today to illuminate the strongest messages for the highest good of all, allowing me to be a clear and neutral channel that is free of distortion, confusion, malice, and bias. If you're ready to choose your pile, the timestamps are in the description. However, for those who would like a close-up of the cards today, let me do that right now. For Soul Path 1, we have the Aspirant. For Soul Path 2, we have the Spymaster. And for Soul Path 3, we have the Thief. When you feel called and ready, head into the description, click the timestamp for your reading, and we'll see you over there. For those who chose the Aspirant, welcome into your reading. I feel like you are on a quest to learn something, or in your story, you are learning something of a higher knowledge. These keys are representative of the Hierophant keys and that higher knowledge. And with the open hands, it's like a welcoming or receiving of that knowledge. There's also been, in spite of your ambition, some setbacks that you have faced along the way. And I feel that within those setbacks have been a lot of really important lessons or simply just information that you can use moving forward. So there's a richness to some kind of experience or some kind of setback that you've had because you've learned something about yourself. You've gained a deeper wisdom, a deeper knowledge about something. And it may even be leading you towards a higher self-expression or some kind of path or purpose-led path here. So there's some, I'm getting South Node, North Node energy here with this, and how the South Node are the things from our past. The North Node is the things in our future. So let's get into the reading, and we're going to start with a couple more oracle messages and then get into the tarot for more details. We are looking at the narrative, the current narrative. So you can expand. This couldn't be more clear. Based on the pile leader that you chose today, there's definitely something that you are in search for, seeking out, or something that you have been encouraged to move towards in spite of it not being ideal. So I feel like you've moved through a lot of changes, moved through some things that were unexpected. And yes, those may have been difficult, but what you don't see, because I'm just looking at this person, looking through the telescope with great focus, so that is giving me that ambition. And you leading the charge, you at the helm of the ship. So you are moving towards your North Star. But what you don't see around you is an entire universe of things going on that you don't have control over. And so that's where I feel those setbacks have come in, is where those things that you can't control have allowed you to expand in ways that you didn't expect and couldn't expect. It's broken you out of some kind of shell, broken you out of the box. And bottom of the deck, trigger. So there could be a lot of knowledge you gain from your triggers, doing some shadow work, doing some deep healing work based on these triggers. And I feel over time, through the seeking of knowledge and expanding upon those triggers, not expanding the triggers, but expanding the wisdom that can be earned or gained from that, the triggers will become less and you expand into more. So let's keep this going. Let's look at what is your role in this story. Your role in this story is to uncover the truth and close out things that don't feel aligned with your truth, the things that you are learning about yourself. This is about gaining something and releasing of something else. And really allowing yourself to be a true expression of who you would like to be, where you would like to go, maybe even what you would like to feel. So in the seeking of knowledge and maybe healing old wounds, that south node, looking to the past, closing chapters, closing cycles, you're able to move forward and expand into some kind of new truth here. The Three of Swords, yeah. This could put a close to some pain, some trauma that you've been carrying around, some heartbreak, some resentment, even a painful story that you have identified with. So what needs to be done? The Hanged One in reverse. Again, higher knowledge, higher wisdom, information that you use and apply moving forward. So it's not about pausing out of fear of getting uncomfortable just for the sake of being uncomfortable. And I don't feel that this discomfort you might be moving through or have moved through was futile or needless. You are learning something absolutely significant in this space. And I feel that hindsight is going to be 20/20 in this. But what's interesting is I'm just noticing the smallest little detail here, and maybe that's part of your message here too, is about the small details that you pick up along the way. It's not about those big awakenings, but it's the small things that shift within you, the small things that you learn and understand. The 12 and the 21 are sort of mirroring each other here. So it's almost as if once you close some kind of chapter, once you say goodbye or release some kind of hurt, pain, story, belief, that you gain some enlightenment relatively quickly. It's that the pause that you were feeling, the setbacks that you were experiencing no longer delay you in moving forward. Again, I feel this expansion is going to happen quite quickly. But it's all about being open to this knowledge, open to receive. And the plot twist, what you don't see, Queen of Pentacles in the reverse. I feel your lifestyle could change. The way you spend your time or money could change. What you do for a living could change. But there's also this sense of codependence on the material that is no longer a part of this story. It's like you realize what your worth is, and you're no longer reliant on things that you can purchase, the stuff that you can attain, the money that you can make. to really value or bring value to who you are and what you can offer to the world. And this may be part of what is being enlightened here, is your self-worth and where you give too much of yourself. Now, this could be about detaching from someone in your life that no longer aligns with your values as well. And again, this could be an aspect of your identity that you're releasing. But if you have someone in your life that is insecure, you may be detaching from that energy, but you could also be detaching from that energy within yourself, this insecurity, and needing the validation. So that is what I have for you, my dear Soul Path 1. I'd love to know what meaningful message you're taking away today. And if you're sensing there's a little more to unpack, there's a link in the description to join my private collective and gain access to my booking calendar. Thanks for stopping by today, and we'll see you again soon. For those who chose the Spymaster, welcome into your reading. There is a sense of betrayal that I'm picking up from this card. This could be a betrayal of self, but it also could be a betrayal from someone else as well. You were told something that was false, that was untrue, and all along you knew the truth. You could see through the truth. So I'm getting intuition, trusting your intuition, and also using your intuition to gain, to gain knowledge that you cannot see. And I feel something about communication was interrupted. Either a block, you feel like you can't communicate, or that you doubt your truth, what you're knowing, what you're understanding. There's a bond here as well. So this could be in relationship to someone, but it could also be what you're bonded to within yourself. There could be a tension between the story you're telling yourself and the actions that you're taking, or the environments you've put yourself in, find yourself in, etc., and whether or not those things align. Something about values and your belief system. So yeah, there's an interesting tension that I'm getting from this card. I'd love to know what this might be for you. But it's what I'm also hearing is the more you know, the less you know. So it's like you're on a quest to understand something, but then it just creates more questions and more confusion. I'm also picking up being gaslit by somebody as well. So it's like you're trying to communicate, but the truth is being blocked, or it's being manipulated in some way. So it's about trusting your intuition is the key to that truth. There's also an intelligence here. So let's see. Let's look at the narrative. We have struggle and breathe. With noise, yeah, at the bottom of the deck. That's what I was picking up with, the blocked communication or confusion, is that there's just so much noise that may be interrupting your intuitive knowing or the things that you're trying to understand or find out. So there's almost like an influx of information, too much information from the wrong places. And you're moving through some kind of struggle here. Holding your breath could be something as well. Or you're waiting with bated breath. Or even struggling to breathe. There could be a pressure here. So you're like waiting for the other shoe to drop, waiting for something to get better here. Yeah, I just feel a challenge. You're trying to work something through, problem solve, communicate, maybe speak your truth. But there's just so much going on, so much noise. Let's see what your role is in this story here. A 3 of Pentacles in reverse. And I'm going to use that for the bottom of the deck later because it flipped over and it flipped exactly in the right spot. So I'm going to use that for the last card that we pull up here. In the Tower, yeah. Yeah, there's... yeah. So first off, we've got Pentacle energy here. So there's a lot of things that you're trying to manage within the physical world. Could be finances, health, spending a lot of time doing something and not getting anywhere. And that could be what the struggle is that you're trying so hard to maybe not do something alone, and you're just spinning your wheels. There's no logic to something here. You're carrying the weight of it all. And it's almost like you feel like you have no control. Nobody to help. And I'm almost getting a sense of stuckness as well with this Knight of Pentacles because you can't move forward. Because you're so burdened with something. And maybe this is a trust within self, a distrust in what if I take myself out of the struggle? What if I don't work as hard? What if I take the load off for a while and put the responsibility back on someone else and I give myself a chance to breathe? What happens? I feel like there's a fear of where you will end up, of everything's going to fall apart if I stop this, if I take myself out of this equation. Like the bottom's going to fall out or something. But what you're doing right now is not getting you anywhere. It's almost setting you back. And it's not allowing you to grow something or expand upon something or build something that is true to your vision, that is true to what you know, what you feel. And maybe the solution is being looked for in the physical world, and it's not, and there's not a physical answer. There is an emotional response or a feeling or just an intuitive knowing of what needs to be done next without any logic. So let's look at what needs to be done here. What actually needs to be done here in this story. Okay, there's a lot. So again, there's overwhelm, there's noise. I feel like there's so much to do. There's so many possibilities, so many ways that this could be solved. And maybe you're trying to do too much. Maybe you're trying to solve it in too many different ways. Page of Swords. With the 3 of Swords. So there is a truth that you have to start walking with. And it's okay that you're going to stumble and make mistakes. That's how you learn. So moving with your truth, moving with whatever the knowledge, and starting to trust your wisdom, trust what you know, trust yourself a little bit more. It's taking those steps to doing that. And that may be a little uncomfortable with this 3 of Swords at the bottom of the deck, because I feel like the truth is going to not intentionally hurt someone, but the hard truth and being honest with yourself and maybe someone else might mean that you stop doing something, or you start doing something else, or you share something that hasn't been shared before. And that may feel abrupt, but I feel it's necessary for you to step out of the struggle and give yourself space for whatever it is that you need space for. To focus on what's important, to focus on what you want to grow, to start trusting yourself more. And not feeling like you have to do more in order to get the answers that you're looking for. I feel the answers are already within you. You already know what the answers are. It's just a matter of slowing down enough to hear them and removing that noise. So working on the mind could be really important. Working on your belief system or the stories that you're telling yourself regarding the situation. What does it mean about you if you do something? What does it mean about you if you don't? Queen of Swords in reverse. So what you don't see could be a plot twist, is that you start getting really ruthless about what you know. And I almost wonder if you confront somebody who has been critical, that has been cruel or heartless or cold or mean, the fear of disappointing them disappears, and you speak even though your voice shakes. Now, this could be somebody in your life that is overly critical, somebody that you've had a hard time setting boundaries with. But this could also be an aspect of you as well, where you start to learn how to be more clear in your communications, where you start filtering out the negative self-talk or the inner critic, and you face that and confront that so that you can feel what's underneath all of that, so that you can stop whatever this struggle is and start trusting yourself more. So that is what I have for you, my dear Soul Path 2. I'd love to know what meaningful message you're taking away today. And if you're sensing there's a little more to unpack, there's a link in the description to join my private collective and gain access to my booking calendar. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you again soon. For those who chose the Thief, welcome into your message. I feel I'm speaking to somebody that has a limiting belief around what they deserve. So I'm hearing that, who am I to ask for this? Who am I to want this? When there's so many people in the world that don't have the basics, and here I am asking for whatever it is, fill in the blank. And I believe you are somebody who likes to seize opportunities and would like to build or create something, who would like to move up some kind of ladder or achieve, because there's a certain sense of accomplishment in that. But there's also a level of guilt, a level of selfishness that you feel because of that ambition, because of you having opportunities that others don't, or having good food, having money in the bank, getting that promotion, earning a living that is beyond what you could imagine. Let's expand on this narrative. Guide. And soul. Ooh. Soul guide. You know what's interesting about this? Recharge. I'm not looking at this keyword at face value here. I'm looking at the person sitting on these rocks. And I'm immediately getting that you've overcome something, and maybe you've overcome a lot of things. And you can apply what you've learned to help move other people forward in similar situations. I feel like what you're doing with your life is very soulful. It's very heart-led. It's very meaningful. And it could potentially impact others, but in a way that isn't necessarily monetary. So turning that selfishness or that guilt into something meaningful. You know, I'm almost getting like, how can you use that to inspire other people or help other people? So it's not just about wanting everything for yourself. It's about how can you attain those things, but then also turn around and give back in some way. So that's it's like we're looking into your soul story here. It's an interesting title name for this video. Maybe this will be put this in the rotation more often. Let me know. So let's get into what your role is in this plot. 9 of Wands, yeah. 9 of Wands in the upright and the Strength in reverse. It's like you... I don't want to say you enjoy the struggle, but it's like if I have the struggle, there's a story, there's a belief here that if you have the struggle, then the success feels more earned. But when it comes easy for you, it almost feels threatening. And so the lack of confidence that you might have to achieve some kind of goal, move towards a North Star, a purpose, a soul path, it's almost as if, and this feels like a really tough message to deliver, the lack of confidence is almost like a shadow aspect to where if you don't have confidence or you don't have the time or the energy to chase this thing, then that's almost, I don't want to say an excuse, but it allows you to not seize the opportunities and get to that goal to avoid the guilt or the selfishness that you might feel when you attain that goal or take that opportunity. It's almost like you're leaving the opportunities on the table for other people. But you have so much ambition and you have such a strong leadership ability that you don't give yourself credit for, that you don't see yet. And so you keep yourself at a certain level for the purposes of safety and protection. And there could be some other stories underneath that, but I feel like part of your soul story here is to use this ambition, use your resources, your privilege to help other people find opportunities for themselves, to share your gifts, your struggle, to share what you've moved through to get to where you are. Because I feel you have moved through your own version of struggle, but don't stay there to avoid your North Star. This feels very golden shadow. Because you have the strength, you have the drive, you have the vision and the will and the perseverance to push beyond where you are. It's just that you're not giving yourself credit or permission to do that because of some block. Your soul wants to do more here. And I feel you are being guided to do that. Queen of Pentacles in reverse at the bottom to clarify these cards, which is an underlying sense of lack of self-worth, or not valuing yourself in the way that you need to value yourself. So you're giving things away. You might be discounting your products or services if you're in a business, because there's a block to receiving here. Queen of Pentacles in reverse, that is monetary. Queen is receiving energy. With it being in reverse, there's a resistance to receiving. So maybe anything that you get, you give away. But it's not about giving away what you're earning and staying in some kind of story or struggle. I feel both things can exist. Just because you're taking an opportunity doesn't take it away from someone else. And I feel that's part of what you're learning here in this story. So what needs to be done? The actions to overcome this is Temperance in reverse. So it's really noticing the undercurrent to what's happening here. And that might require a little bit of introspection and reflection, but also noticing, what's happening under the surface and finding yourself playing with this idea of receiving more and using that guilt and shame and sense of selfishness a little bit differently, working on your self-worth and trying to balance things out so you can go down the middle path and not be taken off course. Because when the Temperance is in reverse, this is an imbalance, but it can also be focusing far too much on something and not enough on the other side of the coin. So I feel that there's a weight happening within this storyline. And so it's noticing where that weight is, where you feel you're being taken off course and why you're being taken off course. And I feel it's happening all within you. So bringing yourself back into balance, releasing what's heavy, and maybe even finding some healing along this journey. So healing a money story, healing a self-worth story, and King of Wands at the bottom of the deck. I love that for you, because that is a visionary, that is a guide, that is a soul guide, that is a conductor of the energies. Wands really harness the magic that is within you. It focuses that energy. And again, I just feel that you're leading people here. You're leading an orchestra of people here towards the world that you want to create, the communities you want to create, the business you want to create. Whatever you want to bring into form is possible. You just have to step into this leadership. Give yourself permission to do that, to tap into your strength, your creativity, your conviction, your courageousness, your confidence. Because that's what the King of Wands is. And right now, you're only doing a fraction of that. The Nine of Wands, you're only doing what you need to do, and there's nothing else. So you've kind of stopped yourself here because you worry. You don't have the confidence. You don't have the knowledge. You don't have this. I am not enough. I don't want to take something from someone else. What if taking an opportunity creates more opportunity for other people based on how you do that? Especially if you're a leader. Especially if you build your own business, create your own community, create for the joy, create to put joy into the world, to express. So, final message that I'm getting for you is don't rob yourself of your soul path, your soul story, your soul expression. And just keep showing up for that purpose and alchemizing the raw material into gold. It's a process. It's going to take time. Be patient with yourself. So that is the message that I have for you, my dear Soul Path 3. I'd love to know what meaningful message you're taking away today. And if you're sensing there's a little more to unpack, there's a link in the description to join my private collective and gain access to my booking calendar. Thanks for stopping by today, and we'll see you again soon.